The opinions expressed in this show are the views of the host and not necessarily that of WTRW, 94.3 The Talker, or the Bold Gold Media Group.
The following presentation is brought to you by the host of the program, who is solely responsible for its content.
Portions transcribed.
All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
This is the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Good morning. I'm Jackie Ruddy, and with my husband, fellow realtor, co-host, Pat Devaney.
And good morning, Jackie. How are you? Are you in a safe and secure location?
I think so. I'm in my own house, I hope.
Yes.
I hope. But
I'm in another part of the house. I'm secure. The social distancing is working.
Yes, we're calling in to the radio station, and with us, also calling in from a landline from her home is Colette Hughes, owner of C3 Concepts. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thanks for being here with us 2 weeks in a row. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. where we cover various real estate topics. We have a full-time real estate office with many relentless realtors. We've been guiding, assisting, and advising clients in real estate matters for nearly 50 years.
During the week, we are still working, so if you want to call the office when everything settles down, you can. But if you want to get in contact with our agents, go to jready.com, and we have a webpage there, Meet Our Staff, and all the agents' names, and you can find their cell phone numbers and email address there. So you can email us with any questions you have. It's questions@jready.com. It's questions@jruddy.com. And when you're at jready.com, click on the webcam tab, and you can see what's going on at Dunmore Corners, which really isn't much anymore. But you can check on the weather and see what's going on.
View our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly jready.com, jruddy.com. And we're on social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest. And we have virtual tours, YouTube videos of homes, and a lot of pictures. So we're doing things remotely. Our office is closed. We are in compliance with Governor Wolf's shutdown. But we are realtors, and we can be reached. So don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any real estate questions. We'll be happy to guide anybody along the way. Okay, Colette Hughes, owner of C3 Concepts. It's a cleaning company. And last week we were talking about the coronavirus and the best practices to clean our home, the best solutions to use. And you've been doing this 20 years. Just give me, please, a brief overview of you and your company.
Thanks, Jackie. Right now we service commercial clients only in the Lackawanna County area. We've been doing that for over 20 years and have enjoyed this business tremendously.
You know a lot about cleaning. And,
I think I do. After 20 years, I hope so anyway.
You gave us a lot of great tips last week on how to make our own solutions and disinfectant wipes, as well as cleaning solutions in the home, not to use a bucket of water and contaminate the water with a rag. Rather, use lots of different rags. Soap and water is something that we can use. What kind of soap? Regular soap, a liquid detergent. What type of soap? When you're telling us about soaps to use, which is the best soap to use?
Well, it doesn't have to be a brand name, so any soap will do. Even dish soap will work. Shampoo soap will work.
Shampoo.
But it's all soap. It's all the basic ingredient. But here's what I suggest. Do a test first, because some folks might be allergic to certain products based on their immune system or their skin surface, their own personal skin surfaces and so forth. So test a little bit, but wear rubber gloves or surgical gloves, of course. When you're cleaning, that will also protect your hands. But any soap really will do. I stress at this time during this pandemic, please don't fret. Please don't get overly anxious about buying so many products, because good old-fashioned soap and water will work.
All right. Now, last week you said about making your own antiseptic wipes. What was that formula again? How do you do that?
Yes. This is approximations, and it's best to stay as close to the measurements as possible. So that would be 2 cups of warm water, 1 cup of rubbing alcohol, which at least contains 70% concentration.
Wait, so vodka won't work?
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I'm hearing so many people say that they think that that's going to work, and I'm sorry to tell everyone that it doesn't. I think you should reserve that for a little nightcap rather than using it
All right,
to clean.
I'm sorry. I
Especially
interrupted
since
you.
the liquor stores are closed.
Yeah, really. You better stock up on your booze.
So getting back to the disinfectant wipes that you can make at home, it's 2 cups of warm water, 1 cup of rubbing alcohol, 70% concentration, 1 tablespoon of dish soap, mix it well, and you can either put that into a spray bottle and use it that way, or if you have a roll of paper towels on hand, you can cut that roll in half and then let it soak a little bit, and voila, you have your own wipes. Very economical to make.
Wow, that's great. Then you just put them in a Ziploc bag and you take them out when you need them.
Absolutely. And I want to share also that the World Health Organization says that hand washing with soap and water is really the best way to clean your hands. So
if anything comes out of all of this, hopefully everybody washes their hands from now on.
Absolutely.
You know, Colette, you do cleaning by trade. That's your thing. You clean homes and businesses for people. Is there any good that you see coming out of any of this mess?
Absolutely. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And I believe that what's going to come out positively from all of this, Jackie, is that we will overall see the value of keeping our spaces clean. I've been one promoting that for 20 years, and even before I went into the business, I believed in keeping a clean home. So I'm glad, in a way, that this brings it to our attention. However, I'm not happy under the circumstances. I want to stress that. But if we look at the positive side to all of this, in any situation, we have to say, what can we learn from this? And I believe this is one thing we can learn.
So where's the best place for us to start?
To clean, you mean?
To clean.
Well, if we take a picture of a teenager or a young child and a messy bedroom, we often say, go clean your room. And it doesn't get done because the child becomes overwhelmed at the complexity of what that's going to entail. But if you break up any room, any facility, any space into smaller segments, the task becomes easier and more manageable. So, for instance, in that child's room, now that would need some assistance because I believe it's important to always start from the top down because dust and particles are going to fall. So if there's bookshelves and so forth in a child's room, or curtains, the tops of curtains, window ledges up at the top and so forth, start cleaning those off and everything's falling to the bottom, and then work your way down. But start in one area of the room first, top down, second area, top down, and before you know it, you have that whole space cleaned. And then lastly, if it's carpeting, you could vacuum, or if it's hardwood, then you clean the hardwood or tile or whatever. So basically, break it down into smaller areas, start with the top down, and work that way.
Good advice. So what items do you feel are important to focus on in the home, especially in the home? We're leaving the home to go shopping for food and goods that we need. And we're going to the bank to take out money or to deposit money. So we're coming back and we might be bringing things into the home that we don't want. So what are we touching that should be continually and continuously cleaned that we're forgetting about?
Well, an old habit that gets forgotten in our culture is taking our shoes off when we walk through the door. And so I think that that's more important to do now more than ever because you're carrying in germs. I mean, I don't want to describe any pictures in anyone's mind, but if you're walking down the street and you see things that are there that are uncomfortable to look at and you've walked near them, you carry them into your home on your feet. So that might be a good place to start, is taking your shoes off when you come in your home. But also, that little tip on the disinfectant wipes, keep those in the baggie, as Pat mentioned, in your purse or in your glove compartment in the car. You can wipe things off. I'm doing things, little things that I didn't do before, and that is my credit cards. After I use them, when I get home, I'll take a wipey and just wipe them off and let them dry off a little bit. An important thing, really important that I want to stress, is to make sure your cell phone is cleaned. And that's because it's a high-touch area. We share our cell phones. How often do we show pictures of our loved ones? We're handing it back and forth. And so I even have a joke about cell phones. I say, don't talk dirty, because that's a surface that's going to collect a lot of germs. And there's a way to clean that, just a little bit of alcohol and a wipey. Make sure you're not getting your surface wet. Let it dry. Take your case out. You can even take your battery out of the phone while you're doing this. That's important. Wipe it down, put it back. Another item that we forget about is our TV remotes. Anything that requires a remote in your home, wipe those off periodically. Light switches, anything that's handled the most often in your home is what should be concentrated on most.
The handle in the toilet, I think, is touched by everybody in the house, and I think everybody forgets about it.
That's a good point. It's something that we wipe off in our business, and I hope other companies do as well. But that is a good point to bring up, Pat, because it's something that's easily forgotten about.
Okay, now you were talking about isopropyl alcohol, using that. That's been pretty scarce lately that I found. Is there anything people could substitute for the alcohol?
Well, hydrogen peroxide will work. A little bit of bleach will work. But again, make sure to test your surfaces when using those. And just try a little spot, let it get that clean a little bit, let it dry, and then go from there. But if you don't have alcohol, a little bit of that dish soap in water is going to go a long way. My philosophy is something is better than nothing.
I can't help but think about, there's a danger in overusing chemical cleaners, but there's something far worse, and that's mixing cleaners in hopes of boosting their effectiveness.
Sure.
So I'm sure there's been a lot of science experiments out there, but yeah.
What's the two things you should never mix?
Yeah, an excellent point to bring out, because that can happen and cause terrible effects. But it's always safe to start out with soap and water. That's a basic place where anyone can start to help keep their space clean. It's safe and it's economical.
Right. Never mix ammonia and chlor and bleach, right?
Absolutely.
Remember that? What does that make? Phosgene gas?
It's some kind of gas. It's
that's what they used in World War I. It was like a...
Yeah.
So never, ever, I'm an older guy, I remember this, so never, ever mix ammonia and bleach. That's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So last week we talked about, too, and you're saying soap, and it's any soap. Soap is soap. But there's a lot of people that feel that it's not good if it's not labeled antibacterial.
Yes, there's some research that's coming out about that's saying the main ingredient in it is not good for the environment, and that product is triclosan, Triclosan, and there is a website that's available, although I don't have that in front of me, but if you look up that word, triclosan, you can find a list of products that contain that. So for those who do well to care about harsh ingredients such as the triclosan, go to Google, wherever you do your searching, and look up that product, and you can find a listing of things that contain it. And by the way, the things, pesticides, some pesticides contain that as well. So it's just something to be careful of. Again, I can't stress enough the importance of soap and water. You're always safe with that, but anyone is free to use whatever they think is going to work best in their home. They have to be mindful of the health of the folks in their home, whether their immune system is low, if they're in good health. And so these are things to be mindful of. But I believe to start somewhere. If you want to start somewhere, you can't get to the grocery stores, the products are out, I think you can safely say that soap is still on the shelves.
The EPA recently released a list of approved disinfectants to kill coronavirus, and if somebody wants to do a little research on that or visit the EPA, they can go to epa.gov. But Colette, I think you have the best advice. Don't rush out in a panic. If you have soap and you have water, you're in good shape.
Mm-hmm. Excellent, yes.
Colette Hughes, owner of C3 Concepts, a cleaning company. Can I have your contact information, Colette?
Absolutely. The business phone number is 570-586-8765, and that is also a fax number, so they can reach me that way.
Thank you, Colette. Pat, would you like to reveal a listing, please?
Yes, we have almost 1.5 acres of land. That's lot number 82. That's Halsey Place in Gouldsboro for $32,000. It's 3 building lots being sold together, so it's got 300 feet of road frontage, and it also has the lake rights to Lake Watauga. This level piece of land is being sold. It's being sold really at a great price, and this might be the perfect place for you to build your dream home. That's almost 1.5 acres of land with rights to Lake Watauga for $32,000, and that's listed by Gail Lewis of our office.
Thank you, Pat. And you remember last week we talked about fads?
Yes. You didn't get to the other rooms.
Yeah, versus trends. Well, staying away from wallpaper, which is a fad, but if you go to Pinterest or other sites such as that,
let me ask you something before you get started. Is there a certain houses that you could walk into and you look at the wallpaper and it's got the stripes from ceiling to floor, and you can tell me exactly when that wallpaper was put up? Was that a trend in the 90s?
Right. So although wallpaper is gaining in popularity, a lot of buyers still aren't into it. And if they see wallpaper, they think of time and expense, and they're just not going to deal with it, right?
Right.
So wallpaper is a prediction that it's a fad. So wallpaper, it's predicted as a fad. But if you keep it to one wall and it's a nice print, traditional print, not a bold, busy print, you should be able to be okay if you just put it on one wall, if that's the way you want to dress up a room. Now, the kitchen, what's happening is people are tuning into HGTV, and they watch it all the time. What's happening on there is that they're seeing fancy gold and brass finishes in the kitchen or bathroom. This is a fad. It looks nice, and it's growing in popularity, but it's unlikely that you're going to find these in a majority of the homes out there, especially in the suburbs. So if you live in a hip city with a large design-savvy millennial buyer base, that's not here, guys. It's not Northeast PA. Choosing these trendy finishes could pay off. But for everyone else, stick to finishes with a more widespread appeal, because that's the smarter move. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. We'll be back after a very brief break.
The talented team of professionals at Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate. They're not just real estate agents, they're agents of change. They're on a never-ending quest for the best for you and your family. They can help you find precisely what you want at this time in your life. A computer, a website, an app, and a listing by itself can't do that. They're obsessed with better and deliver extraordinary, embracing the what if, not just the what's been done before, with a level of accountability and honesty not found anywhere else in the real estate industry. Don't settle for average, okay, or just all right. This change in your life is monumental, and there's only one Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate that will help you rock that change. Call 570-344-6724 and visit jruddy.com, JRUDDY.com. Each Century 21 office is independently owned and operated.
You're rejoining the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate on 94.3 The Talker. I'm Jackie Ruddy and Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor.
Good morning. How are you doing from your safe, secure location?
I'm doing fine, just fine. How about you?
Very good. I'm safe.
And Colette Hughes, owner of C3 Concepts, a cleaning company. We're having a great discussion with you. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having us.
You know, the last 2 weeks, we've been talking about cleaning our homes, and, you know, we're in this pandemic, and the coronavirus has taken over the world, and so it's really important that we clean our spaces, our homes, our cars, our workspaces for those people that have to still go to work. And you're helping us figure that all out calmly and very helpfully. So, you know, I've been talking about trends in real estate, and fads, and what to stay away from, what's a trend, what's a fad. You have those in the cleaning business, don't you? Trends and fads?
We certainly do, and sometimes when they pop up, they come to the surprise while I'm cleaning. So, for instance, years ago, a product came out that was very, very popular, and the technique was just spray it in your shower, and you don't have to wipe it off. It's supposed to keep it clean. I did not know that my clients were using that until I see a film developing on their shower stalls and not knowing what it was. Did a little bit of searching, found that it's off to the side in a corner or in a closet, and I found that the main ingredient in that was soap. And although soap is good to use, it has to be rinsed. So folks, good, well-meaning folks, thought they were helping me out by making my job easier by spraying this and leaving it on, when actually it was doing more harm than good because it caused a buildup. So that was one trend that I saw, and I still see commercials from time to time for that product. So if I may caution people against following just the trends in that way, because you might be putting some depreciation to your spaces, especially your shower, if that builds up and it can't be removed. Another trend is a product that you see that spray it on the furniture to get rid of your odors. Well, if you keep spraying that on your fabric, number one, it's going to do damage to your fabric. Secondly, underneath that fabric is going to stay moist. So you're creating a real potential for mildew, which can cause a worse health hazard in the home than just a cold or the flu. So be careful, use common sense. General cleaning is always the best way to go.
Well, nothing takes the place of scrubbing and wiping and regular cleaners. And I can still remember someone coming to my office, an agent. She's deceased now, but she was so thrilled that this product was out there that all she had to do was spray it on and walk away. And she thought she died and went to heaven because this took away her responsibilities of cleaning her bathroom. And I thought to myself, when it's too good to be true, it usually is. I never bought into it. I'm glad I didn't.
Absolutely. And with those sprays, it's important to be very careful of using too much aerosols as well. I mean, we're seeing people in a panic because certain ones are out of stock right now. Well, really, I mean, spraying all those things and breathing in those chemicals cannot be good for you.
All right, Colette, let me ask you a question. Do you like mops?
Oh, don't get me started on that, Pat. Mops. I do not like them. I don't use them. Now, I'm going to make an exception in a minute. But here's what's going to happen with a mop. I'm going to talk specifically about a spaghetti mop. If you're putting that into a bucket, the first time you use it, you are doing a great job cleaning because the mop is clean and the bucket of water is clean. But the minute you rinse that in your bucket of water, you're contaminating the water, and then every time you reuse that water, you're spreading the germs back on. So I don't believe in that kind of a cleaning system at all. I don't recommend it.
I would even go as far as to say, and I don't mean to contradict you, but, you know, the first application of the water and the soap on the mop and then you're using it, I never felt that a mop would actually pick up the dirt. I always felt that it pushed it around.
You're absolutely right, and that's something that I stress to everyone when I do a bid. If they show me their janitor's closet and I see that in there, I do discuss that with them and recommend a different system. But I'm glad you mentioned about pushing the dirt, because it's important to clean that dirt off of the floor surface before even using a rag and a spray product. If you don't get all of that dirt off the floor first, then you're just, as you said, Jackie, just pushing that dirt around.
So I don't use mops either, never did, never will. I know there are people listening in horror. So how do you clean if you don't use a mop?
Well, I know this is going to sound hard to believe, but for us in the homes, we do an old-fashioned hands and knees routine. It's something that I've always stressed that it's the most effective way to keep it clean. When you're close to the floor, you can see what's in the corners. You can get to moldings. You can get under surfaces a whole lot better. So hands and knees is always the best way. Now, in the commercial realm, there are other techniques that you can use. There's machines that you can use for those kinds of larger surfaces. But even in a commercial area, for instance, the ones that we do, restrooms, we are smaller spaces, so we use the old-fashioned hands and knees method. Now, you have to be careful of taking care of yourself when you do that, so always wear knee pads to protect your knees, always wear gloves and so forth. If you get a little tired, you stand up, you move on to another task. But for us, the hands and knees method was always the most effective way to keep a space clean.
Yeah, I agree. And I know that it's a lot for a lot of people, but to get the floor clean, that's
right,
what's needed.
Right.
Okay. With us today is Colette Hughes, owner of C3 Concepts Cleaning Company. We're almost out of time. Is there anything that you would like to add that we haven't covered in the last two shows?
Well, Jackie, if I could just end on a positive note, and that is, I think now more than ever, folks will realize the importance of a clean space. But in addition to that, when a space is clean, you feel comfortable, you feel more cheerful, so it's going to enhance the quality of life. It, of course, helps to maintain health and safety, and it holds back the depreciation of your home or building.
Thank you, Colette. And how does someone get in touch with you, please?
They can call my business number at 570-586-8765, and that is also my fax number if they'd care to send a little message that way.
Thank you, Colette. Stay healthy, stay safe, and thank you for some of the best advice that we've heard in a long time on the Real Estate Roundtable.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
Pat, would you like to review a listing?
Yes, we have a gorgeous 3-bedroom, 3-bath home. It's at 18 Sheffick Drive in Gouldsboro. That's inside Big Bass Lake for $275,000. This home, it sits on 2 lots. It's got a beautiful gourmet kitchen with cherry cabinets and a center island. The master bedroom has a walk-in cedar closet. It has beautiful hardwood floors, a fireplace. It has a loft that overlooks the great room, cathedral ceilings. It also has a large enclosed deck with a great view. There is a large 2-car garage with a work area and a circular driveway. This home, it really needs nothing. It just needs a new owner. That's a beautiful 3-bedroom, 3-bath home with a fireplace and a 2-car garage at 18 Sheffick Drive in Big Bass Lake for $275,000, and that's listed by Connie Seagraves of our office.
Okay, thank you, Pat. And so last 2 weeks we've been talking about when updating a home, especially if you're going to put it on the market, stay away from fads, but you can incorporate current trends. We talked about wallpaper, we talked about kitchen finishes, so now we're going to talk about bathrooms. The latest rage, do you know what it is, Pat, in the bathroom?
I have no idea.
Large walk-in showers. They're very popular, right?
Right, but you lose something.
What do you lose?
A tub.
Yes, the bathtub. You have to ditch a bathtub usually because people don't have enough space to do both. So if you're going to put your house on the market, you have to consider your potential buyer before making this drastic change. While you personally might not take many baths, a tub is often a must for young families with small children, so people have to be careful about that. Remember to tune in next Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 11:30 a.m. to listen to more of the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker.